Sam, Vince, welcome to the conversation, to the podcast. Sam and Vince Skillcorn from Woking in Surrey. Is that the right location?
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. There's only two things I know about Woking, and it's because I'm a lot older than you guys. One is that I think Panther Cars used to be based down there, and I think Paul Weller's from Woking, isn't he, as well?
Oh, yeah, Paul Weller.
You see, I say he's even older than me, but still. So, anyway, Sam, Vince, I know you're the busiest power couple in judo. Thank you for your time. You basically sort of scramble away. I guess some people, listening to this, watching this, will maybe know you or know of you, or maybe some people won't know you. So, just give us an overview. Who are you guys? Where are you based? And interesting, how did you meet? I know you work together, but how did you guys meet as well?
Go on, you can start.
So I'm from Woking anyway, where we're based.
Okay.
Now. And I suppose a bit about me. Obviously, my background's judo. I've done judo since I was 5.
Okay.
And that's how we met through judo. I moved to my judo club in Camberley, which is about sort of 15 minutes from Woking. I was lucky that basically one of the best, if not the best judo club in the country was on my doorstep.
Right.
So that's where I went, and we ended up, they had an accommodation block there. So I moved in and actually lived on site.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then Vince arrived.
Oh my goodness, go on. And you entered the academy, basically, did you? That was how you guys...
Academy makes it sound quite grand.
Yeah.
The level of coaching and judo was worthy of being called that, but we basically lived in porta cabins.
Okay, you've destroyed the dream now, but okay, we'll go with academy, I think.
Yeah, the hut of dreams.
Yeah.
But yeah, so actual facility-wise, didn't match the level of judo and training that was involved there.
Until I arrived.
It went really downhill.
Yeah.
And so you sort of discovered judo as a youngster. And Vince, for you, how did you? Why judo? Why not another martial art? Why was judo the one for you?
Yeah, pretty much for me, it was always the case that I just enjoyed. I didn't get told off making people fly around the room, and it was just that thing. It was a good act. A good way of me getting rid of a lot of energy that I had.
You did try karate though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did other martial arts. So I did karate when I was a kid. It just wasn't physical enough for me. It really enjoyed fighting. I liked the full contact nature. I liked that.
Okay.
And it just gave me a good outlet, from an early age, traveling all over the world. And then I left home at 17.
Mm-hmm.
So I just literally went up to Camberley. And yeah, that's how it all started, and then that's how Sam and I met, and that's it.
Rest is rock and roll history, then, as they say, I guess. So,
yeah, pretty much.
Yes. Okay, so you met, you're married, you're running your own business, and I think there's a lot of people out there that I see. Lynn and I, we work together. We've worked together for 30 years now. How have you made it work, working as husband and wife, business partners together? Because that sometimes works really well. Sometimes it doesn't work quite so well for other people. So is there a secret to that, do you think, for other people to pick up some tips?
I think just doing as you're told, really.
I was going to say, yeah. I've learned that. I
think, it's one of those things. Actually, I think what ours was a little bit different to start off with, because we just literally, from the start of our relationship, we shared one bedroom, and then we were in communal living. Yeah. So then once we both retired from judo at the same time, we both then moved out into our own accommodation, which was a 1-bed flat, but it had 2 to 3 more bedrooms than we were used to, and 20 less people than we were used to.
Right.
So then it was just, so it was much, much simpler when we actually moved out, but we were just used to that lifestyle in the first place, weren't we?
Yeah, at times we were training partners as well when we did judo. So in terms of an extreme stress pressure situation, we kind of started you couldn't really get more intense.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing that, if the relationship wasn't going to work, it wouldn't have worked initially.
Yeah.
So that was a pressure test at the beginning. But I think also although we're both very driven people, we've probably got quite different strengths.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As well. So we both love judo. That helps. So we're on the same page with that. But yeah, Vince is really good at some things that I'm not so good at, and then there's other bits that I'm really good at that Vince is terrible at.
Yeah, balance is the key. I remember we did an event, and Lynn I've been like you guys. We've been together since we were kids. And somebody in the audience said, "Could they ask Lynn a question?" And they said to Lynn, because we've been together for over 40 years, in that time you've been together, have you ever considered separation or divorce? And there's clearly something going on in this person's life. She wants to, get some validation or something. And Lynn said, no, divorce, separation, no. Murder, yes, but never separation. And I think that's sort of, there is a bit of heat and light in this sort of thing as well. But I think, you're clearly you made it working together, and family as well, which is, it is unique and special. So yeah. You at the same academy, you got together, if you like. When did you actually start the business of judo? When did you start the Fighting Fit Judo?
So that was a little bit of a weird one. So when we retired, I always.
You say retired, like we stopped competing?
Yeah, sorry. When we stopped competing, I didn't have any real GCSEs or many options, so I just went straight into coaching. I started going for my coaching badges, so I'd already started coaching. You weren't sure what you were up to, so you were doing some admin work, and
I've done a sports massage course. I was thinking maybe I might want to be a physio, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So then we were approached by somebody who was retiring from judo. Did we want to take it over their club, which we decided to do. We took it over. It was only, a relatively small club. It was only run sort of part-time, really, wasn't it, in terms. So we've only actually been running as a club for about 7 years.
Right.
But it's one of those things that we've talked about many a time. Like, we started off as a judo coach who then had a judo club. And then all of a sudden we had this judo business, and now we're actually business owned. It was one of those things that naturally sort of morphed forwards. And we always had, I think that's one of the reasons why we were quite fortunate as well, because we both just had this vision of what we wanted to do within judo. What we saw, the benefits that we had been given, we had taken from judo. And that was pretty much our driving force of growing to where we are now, I guess.
So the business was started off at sort of I say not part-time, but it was a reasonably sort of low level when you took the business over. And where this is 7 years now, where is the business now? Just give a paint a picture for everybody. What shape and size of the business now?
Busy.
Well, yeah, no. So we were growing. The business was in a slightly different shape, and then obviously, so it was fairly small. So we had sort of 60 to 80 members, I think, when we took over. I think it was somewhere around that. Then we started to grow out the club a little bit, and we started to build like a schools business on it. But then obviously COVID just killed everything. And then by the time we'd got through COVID, we were down to sort of 175 members. We'd build it up and then we'd drop back down. So really, we're looking at the last 20 months since we've been fully out. So we went from 175 members to over 560 members with, it's just grown a considerable size. We've got a full-time premises. We've got satellite clubs. We're building out other judo programs to develop with what we're doing. So it's grown quite a speed.
So to go from that, and I think I saw one of your posts, I think it was on Facebook, that I'm going from memory now, from April last year to now, taken on a total of over 600 students, I think it was.
Yeah,
with an attrition rate of 3.29% average.
Yeah.
Those are huge. I mean, that's fabulous growth. That's roughly, it's a student a day joining you, isn't it? Pretty much over that period. And you've kept the attrition rate. I mean, the attrition rate in the UK average, it depends where you look, but it's 6% plus, so your attrition rate is really good. How have you done it? I mean, what are your sort of guiding principles? Why have you managed to build a business so well, so effectively, retaining the students, good growth? What's the secret? What's the secret sauce?
Well, I think there's a few things. So first of all, I think we 100% believe in what we're doing. I think that's a huge thing, and I think for us, we really want to make an impact on judo on a bigger scale. So everything that we're doing is about how do we get judo better. So I think that helps with our retention, because we actually care about it as well. We benefited so much from judo. We know how judo can benefit other people, so that actually goes into what we do day to day.
I think actually going through the pandemic changed the way we thought about the club a bit as well. So I think prior to the pandemic, we thought we were just teaching judo. And then during the pandemic, we saw a bit of a shift with the families that stuck with us. We taught on Zoom the whole time. So from the second we went to lockdown, we're on Zoom, which obviously wasn't really judo, certainly not judo in the way that we were used to doing it. we still had this huge buy-in from all the families that were still logging on to Zoom, and they were still paying their monthly direct debits. And it kind of made us think a little bit, well, that it's not the judo, because this isn't really judo. We're not what they signed up for. So there's something else that they want to be involved in. And that made us really think about what it was we're actually delivering within the judo club. So building around that sense of community and trying to support the families and the kids outside of the judo class that they were doing, I think. So I think a lot of it has come from
well, it's just much more, isn't it? Much more than the 40 minutes that they come onto a judo class, or an hour, or however long. It's much more, and it's how it benefits from there. I mean, as well, we were pretty much at a point during the pandemic where we weren't sure how we were going to survive as a family. We weren't sure how we were going to pay for our mortgage. We weren't sure, we were having these conversations. Do we need to get another job? Do we need to add extra? But actually we took the government bounce back loan because it was offered to us, but then we basically just decided to go all in, didn't we? So we started investing in our education around members. How do we grow a business? We just literally paid for the information, and it's not one of those things, you can get all the information in the world, but then we were pretty strict to then implement all of those things. So we went and learned about marketing. We went and learned about how to run a business, how to be more efficient, and paid for mentors. We've done all those things,
taking ideas from other people that were doing well, and
absolutely, market research.
Looking around and taking bits that we liked, there's bits that we didn't like that were judo, but definitely looking around at what was happening elsewhere. And there were some martial arts businesses growing their business during the pandemic. That was a big eye opener for us. Like, how are they doing that? What are they doing? What's going on here?
They're doing different. So the journey, so for the 7 years, we've got to this point now in the business. Looking back, would you do anything different? What are your top lessons, anything like that? The things will avoid this, don't do that you'd advise people listening to this?
I don't want to look back at I don't regret anything we did. But looking at it now, I'd advise other people to do it slightly differently, certainly around maybe the school's business side of it. I think we'd approach slightly differently.
I think I would have, knowing what I know now, I would have spent money quicker to get the information, and that's not I know some people like to spend money to get courses, but they don't act on it. Ideas aren't worth anything unless they actually do something with it. So I think now, looking back, there's things that we were trying to save pennies on but we were spending so much time to actually do it ourselves, where there were so many things that we could pick up and look at and go, all right, well, actually we can implement that tomorrow and start using that to help our club. Our members, our club grow, and all those things. So I think a little bit we were just too focused on the minor things, the micro things, and not looking at it from the macro. Actually, well, if we do this today, we can grow so much faster tomorrow.
I think it was interesting as well, as you said earlier on. Absolutely, I hear that sort of storyboard, doing what I do. I think it was interesting. You said you went from being a judo instructor through to running an academy, but now you're a business owner, and there is a definite change there. People go through, and this is not just in martial art. This is whether you're an accountant or a lawyer, whatever it is. And a lot of people don't make it beyond the sort of technician mode, or they're comfortable there doing that, and they either don't want to or can't or don't think big enough, and they stay in that mode. But you've sort of broken through a number of levels there, if you like. So on that journey, you've come through to very solid business owner mode. What's next? Where do you see either your role within judo overall, or the business? What's the next 12 months, 2 years look like for you guys? Tell him, Sam. Tell him. Where's he going?
I get nervous about what Vince. I'm thinking, what is happening in Vince's head? What's he going to come out with next? That's why I'm on edge, thinking, oh no, what is the plan going to be?
Now's the time, like discovery.
I think it works well. So a lot of the time, Vince, to be honest, is the one that's pushing the boundaries with thinking about what can be the next thing, and then I'm probably more the one that helps that then happen, or the ideas that I decide are doable.
You action them.
I mean, it's interesting. I think, and you, the way you work and the way that I see other people work as well, especially partners. And there's a fabulous book called Rocket Fuel, where they define two sort of characteristics. One's the visionary, and then you've got the integrator. And I think, in our business, it's a similar sort of thing, and for you guys as well. And I think you need that. I think you need the visionary, the push, the drive, the heat that goes with the rocket, if you like. But you do need someone to pick up all the pieces and integrate and make it all work. So I guess that's.
I'll let Vince tell you what the vision is, and then
Yeah, go on, Vince. This is your moment of fame now. Educate Sam and me. Where are we going? What are we doing?
Well, so the first thing we are going to carry on developing the club. So we've got lots of new programs, and moving it away from just teaching judo, we're adding a lot more to that side.
Okay.
So developing the children. So we've got lots of actual programs that we're developing into our delivery, but also then creating opportunities to move children into junior leaders. We're then going to give them opportunities to jump on our instructor programs, and then eventually go into coaching, and then allow them to start building out themselves, following our guidance. So the aim would be to make our judo club in the thousands, to have thousands of students within our judo club.
Yeah.
But then we're also at the moment in the process of dividing our business, and then Sam and I also teaching other clubs, basically going into consultancy work where we're going to help develop judo across the country. So if you want to develop like we've developed, because some people will, some people won't. Some people will be really happy with where they are, and that's fine. But there's going to be people that really want to raise the level. For us, judo is one of the biggest. Like, it's so important, and yet it's so small in this country. Like the national membership's about 35,000, and you've got like that's really minuscule. It can be so much more than that. So then developing out that side of the business where we can then actually disrupt judo a little bit. So for me, it's still caught in the dark ages of where it should be. So disrupt the scene, get it moving, start actually getting people understanding it can be their profession, it can be their life. They can develop those skills as well. So that's sort of the next.
I knew about all those ideas, so that's fine.
Okay, we're good. We're okay.
12 months. Yes, that's our next 12 months. And then after that, well, we'll see.
We'll see then global domination and that sort of thing as well. But I think, and as you know, I'm not a martial artist, but one of my learnings around martial arts is that it's so much more than punching and kicking. It's not just what happens on the mats, it's the mindset, the attitude, the discipline, everything else that goes with it. And you mentioned you're putting some extra product systems and training and coaching in. How's that going to look? Is that for youngsters only, or for adults, or is it a mix? How's that going to show up in your academy?
At the moment, because we're only at the first stage of doing it, we haven't actually got a program for adults, have we, in that regard? It's going to be aimed at the children.
Yeah.
And yeah, I suppose that is an idea to develop for the future. I mean, we always talk about the values of judo, even with the adults, and we set a tone of how we expect people to interact with each other on the mat. That's really important, and it's surprising actually. Sometimes you do hear adults speaking to each other or to their children, in a way that we particularly encourage. So yeah, I think we do set the tone with that, but we haven't got an official program for the adults as yet.
No.
Thanks for putting another idea in Vince's heads.
I'd just like to add to your confusion. I just might part of my function to help you out with that. I can see Vince's cogs are spinning now already. We'll do that as well. Sorry about that.
He would have told you that he's got a program all sorted anyway, wouldn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. It's just photocopied and we've done it, roll it out. Exactly right. So business-wise, where you are right now, growth continuing, going, developing the services, but also interesting, you said you're looking to maybe help and guide other people that want to do what you've done and go up the path from instructor to academy owner to business owner. What's that going to look like? Is that you just direct one-to-one helping other instructors, or how's that work? How's that going to show up?
Well, sort of in the development stage at the moment. We've actually got 3 guys that we're working with at the moment on a one-to-one basis that we're working through the systems. How do they set up? What do they do? Where they are currently? So we're sort of basically beta testing our program. And at the moment it's going really well. So we're going to see a lot of benefits. A lot of those guys in January really start to push on. We're then looking at most probably going to try and aim to do workshops, build those out, online courses, and just pretty much from there build the whole system through. So whatever level somebody wants to participate in, and it even comes down, so you can learn the systems of how to get new members, how to run your business. But the things that people don't necessarily think of is actually, how do you interact with people on the mats? What are the best training practices? How do you take a student every single day onto your mat without disrupting the rest of the class?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's a skill in itself, to make sure that your classes are relevant and suitable for everybody that's on there. So actually building that into your programs is like another layer as well. So
you mean new starters, like, because if you bring it, you're talking about bringing new people into the class. Is that what you mean? Sorry, I didn't understand what you meant by that.
Yeah,
just checking.
This shows, this manifests itself as a low attrition rate, doesn't it? All these extra things about, conversations, relationships, bringing people in, the spirit, the communities you've been talking about, that shows up. And I think there's a lot of mentioning no names. I see other academies where they have an attrition rate of 9-10% plus, and it's like, my goodness, that's tough, because if you've got an attrition rate of 8%, well, you're building your business from scratch every year. It just churns through all the time. It's almost impossible to scale. So I think that is a part of your gift, by the sound of it, is obviously on the mats, but everything else that goes with it. And I guess that people like hanging around with you guys, and then they like the spirit, the community. You do a lot of things.
I think it's my charm more than anything. I think they
don't push it. but there is a real, I sort of sense it, a community, and there's an engagement that you have with with all the students and your team as well, because you've got a team of people in place supporting you now. So you have done it yourselves, but you're building, growing team. Is that something when did you take the leap? When did you bring team on board? What was the first thing you did?
That was pandemic, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's post-pandemic as well. Okay. Yes, Lucy, we've had coaches working with us for a while, not as many as we'd like, but yeah, we took on Lucy joined the team for administration support, but she soon became integral to the business, and yeah, she's pretty much manages the whole membership really. And
there's a full-time job.
Yes, I know. We got Lucy, and then we've got some other help as well with the administration side of things at the moment. So
excellent. And I guess as you grow, I mean, if people listening to this, watching this, there's probably, if I'm a judo instructor with an academy and it's going okay, but I'm really stuck in instructor mode and I want to grow and build and develop, how do I contact you? How can people contact you, connect, and find out more about what you do in terms of supporting instructors as they grow? Is there a phone number, email address, website? Where can we go to?
All of the above. Yeah. So Facebook page. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we can give you the details, but yeah, essentially you can contact us find us on Facebook. Okay. Search the judo coach. That's, if you search the judo coach, that'll come up with my contact details straight away. Okay. But yeah, pretty much everything, you'll be able to find us pretty quick.
Easy to find. And I'm assuming as the business continues to grow, I know you're developing your own instructors coming through, which is on the leadership program, which is great. If somebody's interested in connecting with you, they want to become an instructor and become part of your team, is that something they could do as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a loaded question. I know you guys. I think we said that you are the busiest power couple on the planet, and I know you're good people. You need good people to come and help and support as you go along. So instructors.
Yeah, I think that's key. Obviously, we're pretty fussy, to be honest, but we're very open to meeting other judo coaches that are interested in find out a bit more about what we're doing, and because there's definitely we've got a full-time dojo, so we have the space to actually add more classes,
right?
So we've definitely got, and we know we've got the systems in place to fill the classes, but we haven't at the moment got the coaches to take the classes.
Right. Okay, so there we go. So anybody watching, listening, if they like to sort of get in touch and look to become part of your team down there, then get in touch. Absolutely.
I think that's the key for a lot of coaches as well. I think it's very hard when you're stood on the mat. So I'm trying to reduce what I'm doing, but I'm still coaching 25 lessons a week.
Sure.
Us running everything else. So as you grow, it's not, you've always got to think about trying to get less time on the mats to be able to help that.
Yeah.
So that's always going to be a challenge. But yeah, if anybody's interested in speaking to us, they can always email Sam. Sam is always the one to get back to.
Don't even think he might not reply.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying, Sam, the contact point, that would be great. So any final points? Any, if somebody's looking to just run a better academy themselves and they just want some tips, what would you suggest? Where would you look? When you're working with your now clients in the judo instructors and building academy, where do you look first? What are the sort of 2 or 3 things you would look at first to help them improve and develop, and just maybe some tips to take away?
I think the first thing is, like, whenever you speak to anybody about like how many members do you lose a month, they're like, no one. I don't lose anyone. Like, just start understand, because they don't track,
Yes,
and then
okay, right.
actually, just literally start tracking your numbers. How many people do you get coming in and making inquiries? How many, like the numbers are the truest indicator of what's actually happening.
Yeah.
So the first thing is actually do an audit of your judo club. How many members send an email, have an inquiry every single month? How many actually come through to book? How many then sign up? And then how many do you lose each month? Even those simple things will give you a good indication, because like you said, if you've got 100 members and you're losing 10 members every month, you need to gain 10 members just to stay still.
Absolutely.
So actually understand your numbers is a huge thing. And you don't need to understand every single, penny, you just need to know what your attrition rate is, how many leads you're getting in, how many converting, because once you understand the numbers, you can then use that to improve your services. Because if you're losing 20 people every single month and you've only got 100 members, then there's something that you could be doing on the mats. And generally, they're your biggest indicators. So even with our attrition rate at 3%, we're thinking, well, if we can drop that to 2%, not only do we not have to advertise as much, market as much, we don't spend the money on the actual marketing. We actually save money as well, and the people are getting better together. So those simple things, before worrying too much about getting new people through the door, focus on keeping the people that you've got happy. Once you've got those systems, then look at bringing people in. And then when it comes to scale, it's all about systems, isn't it?
Systems and mindset, isn't it? We spoke about how mindset's really important. And I suppose it comes back around to a little bit our realization in the pandemic that it's more than just teaching judo.
Yes.
And understanding the value that you're offering, not being nervous or embarrassed about charging a sensible amount of money for the value that you're offering, which is a little bit of a problem in judo, which we're pushing against.
So is that something that seems to be in certain aspects of martial arts, instructors do undervalue what they deliver? They just do, and I don't know I'm not sure where it comes from, but do you see that out there in the market as well?
Massively in judo, don't we? Massively. I think it genuinely comes from a good place, where a lot of people, a lot of judo coaches, because everyone loves judo that does judo, they want everyone to be able to do it. So the mindset has always been, we charge £2 a class because we want everyone to be able to afford to do it.
Sure.
But it doesn't help. It doesn't professionalize the sport and bring the sport. You can't raise the level of it, because it's not possible. So although I think it's coming from a good place, it's not very helpful for moving.
I think the danger is that if you do that, and I understand it happens in a number of sectors as well, but you can't grow, you can't scale, you can't have a bigger impact. You can probably get to, I don't know, 50 students or 100 students, but that's it, because it just doesn't make sense after that. You can't do it full time. And to make a bigger impact, I think, as you're doing, clearly, you have to sort of professionalize it, make it into more of a business footing, so you can positively impact more people. That's all. So
I think unfortunately it then becomes a race to the bottom. Like, I've spoken to many judo coaches, and unfortunately, because they do it as a volunteer, they charge a few quid, they do it, but then there's always resentment on both parts. The coaches then become resentful that people don't value what they're offering. These coaches, many judo coaches, would be traveling all around the country to go to tournaments, and a lot of time it would be for free. They'll do it off their own back, and there'll be children that might let them down. There'll be lots of things. So in the end, there's there's no real appreciation on either side. There's no, fair exchange means exactly that. It's got to be fair on both sides. So I think once the coach values their service more and puts a sensible price to their time, they then, the children then value it, the parents value it, the coach then value it, and it actually becomes a lot better relationship.
Absolutely. I think this is true in every sector, actually, that value is price carries value, providing the quality is there. But if things are too cheap, people, they don't value it, whatever it is, they just don't value it. So there's an interesting sort of separate discussion, I guess, to an extent. So
yeah, it's a different minefield.
Anyway, so we're winding down, but we're getting closer towards the end of the year now and Christmas. You're off to the Netherlands, I believe, for a break. Is that right? Over to the Flatlands?
Yep, a couple of days away with the boys and
Excellent.
our kids. So yeah.
Going to be great. Going to be great. Anyway, so look, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for your time. This will go up onto YouTube or circulate it around. We can put some links below the video so people can get in touch with you. And just a reminder, if you are a judo instructor and you'd like to be, part of the gang and speak with Sam and Vince, please get in touch. And also, if you're a judo instructor that wants to go from instructor to academy owner to business owner, and you're interested in that journey, get in touch as well. I've seen the work that you guys do, and it is really, really good. So you're in the right place. So both, thank you. Have a fabulous weekend. I know it's only Thursday, but have a fabulous weekend. Weekend starts on Thursday, doesn't it really? And I'll speak to you soon. But for now, have a fabulous weekend, and I'll speak to you soon.
Andy, thanks very much.
Cheers, David.
Bye for now.